Hi everyone, welcome back to Begin to Code with Mark. Today we start a new video series and we're going to be looking at option pricing and option models, how to code and build our own app in C#. Now, this is a little bit different to the previous apps we've built on this channel where we've been building games. But if you're learning to code and beginning to code with me, this is really going to bring you forward in terms of capturing user data and going through different calculations, and so building different forms, because we've just been working with buttons and loops and things like that. So this one is going to be a bit different. If you found this channel or found this video because you're interested in valuing your own stock options or futures options, then this is going to be interesting for you because you can build your own calculator in C#, learn to code and value some of your options as well. So the option model we're going to start with is a Black 76 model, which is futures options. I found a website which gives us a calculator on the fly. So we need to have these following inputs. We need the value of our underlying asset, our strike price, the days to maturity, interest rate, and the volatility. And then it will calculate a call and put price with various Greeks. Now, this is not the biggest app to build. So in quite a short video, we're going to be able to code and build this pricer. But from here, we can develop much more things. We can add different models. We can look at volatility surfaces and how we can extrapolate those. So there's lots of places to go with an app like this. If you're really interested in the option side of it, if you're really interested in the coding side of it, it's going to be really good as well because it's going to teach us lots of new techniques that we haven't used in the videos so far. So let's begin to code. Okay, everyone, so we see ourselves in a blank C# Windows form project, which I've started in Visual Studio, the same as normal. And we're going to throw a label onto our form just so we know exactly what we're working on. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. You don't want to see me that much. And let's get our text fixed here so we can call this option pricer. And we will change the label name to the LBL title, and let's just change the text. We'll make it bold, we'll make it bigger. I think we always use that text, so we've got something a little bit different that we could use. I'm never sure which one's a really nice one to look at. I want more of a modern one. I don't want style sort of. Korean new look like. I think we'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's use up the space. Okay, so that's the app we're working on, right? It's an option pricer. So based on our website, no, I've closed it. We need a number of inputs. So let's chuck our labels in first. So we can copy and paste these. And remember, I think it's about 5 different things we need to think about capturing. I'm going to do it slightly different than they've done it. We'll go through it. So the first label is going to be the strike price. So this is strike price. Then we want the market price. That's the market of the underlying asset, not the market option. They're going to be different things. So we want a market price. We want to capture the volatility. We want to capture the interest rate. And then we want to capture some things around dates. Now I'm going to actually do a few dates. I think I'm going to do 2. What I want to capture is the valuation date, or let's say it's today's date. So we want to know what the value of our option is today. But if we change this date, then so we could put it forward, say 1 month, then it will tell us what's the value like of this option in 1 month's time if the market price and the volatility and interest rate stay consistent. And then we want expiry date or exercise date. So this is the last date that you can exercise the option, or if it's a European option, it's the date where you exercise. Let's get all of these into a better font. So I think we're using Courier New now. Let's get them all a little bit bigger so they look good. Right, let's add our text boxes. And if we just change our first text box start to that Courier New, remember what text size I'm going for? I think I'm going for 14. No, 12. Then we can paste this one up, put these in well. We'll need to do some formatting and labeling around these. Right, for dates I'm going to leave them. We're going to use a different type of input, but here anyway, this is a different input for the channel so far, right? We're using a text box. I think we've used a text box in our apps before. Let's label or let's rename some things. So this one, we come down to our name. I think you can see it over me. Yes, so this is going to be text box and strike. This is going to be text market. Going to be text volatility. Going to be text interest rate. We can call it int rate. And then we want some date time pickers in here, which is, so over here in the toolbox, we have a date time picker. Put that in. Another one in. Select them both, get our text sorted. We want this Courier New 12. And want call this one. We'll call this the date time picker val date. I'm just trying to check if you can see that under me. Date time picker val date, and we'll have date time picker expiry date. Okay. Then we want a couple, well, we want quite a few more labels to show our results in. So we'll have a column for puts and a column for calls. So a put is the right to buy. A call is the right to buy. A put is the right to sell something. And you either buy or sell, the right to buy or the right to sell. So we're going to have a column here for this calls. This is going to be for the puts. Got to try and think how we really want this. Let's get our text sorted. We keep doing that, but I do want it to look different. So it's Courier New size. Well, that's a label. We'll make that a bit bigger. Everything. But why I didn't think everything selected. Click off them and back on. There we go. This should just Courier New size 12. Right. So we want to come up first with our value. Actually, we'll just do value for now, and then we will add to it later. So let's call this, instead of call, this wants to be option value. This is what we're calculating, and we will put that in two more labels, 1, 2. So these ones now, we're just going to put an X in it, just so we can see it. But one label we definitely want to rename. So we don't want it to be called label 10. We want to call it label call price. And this one will be label put price. Okay, and then let's align these, align them to the right columns. Should be lined up, and we will put on a button. You don't really need a button. We could just have it already running, but I think we'll have a button. Yeah, just so you can see. So we'll call this button price. We will change our text. Well, let's change. So this is going to be price option text. Be a new 14 and bold text is this is what we click in order to price it. So let's just start our app and have a look at what our form is going to look like. Incredibly similar to that, but yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, if we've got a text input here, if we tab through, we're actually coming in order, which is fantastic. And these are defaulting to today's date, which is good. I don't like this Saturday, February piece, so I think we can get rid of the day and we can change the format in here. But quite happy with the initial look and feel of the form. Sorry, get a glass of water, and let's come back and start to build some of our code. Okay, so I found a glass of water, and I've also tidied up for the format of the date time picker. So on form load, we format them both to just say day, month, and year. I also noticed that the font of those wasn't updating, so I selected them separately, managed to get our consistent font, and now we've got, yes, we don't have to say that it's Saturday or whatever. So we have valuation date, expiry date, and our price option. And I've also created some variables, which are the inputs we need for the option model. So we need our market, our strike, our volatility, our interest rate, and then T, which is time. Let's call it time, just so we can. So this time will take into account the difference between the expiry date and the valuation date. Okay, so these X's in here, let's tidy that up quickly. So on form load, we will run, let's run clear labels, and we will create, oh, I've got a pipe in there, and we will create a private void clear labels. Right. And we will just manually clear these for now. So I think it's label full price dot text should be enough. And label full price. Check that should hide our label. Perfect. Right. So now we want to think what button generate does. So if we come back and double click the button price, then we have our event. So the first thing we want to do is capture from our inputs into our variables that we've created. Then we can call the option model. Okay, so let's go for the first is market, which is a double. It's not an integer because the market can be, it's not, doesn't have to be a whole number. So the market is going to equal, and we want to say double dot pass, and then we will say the text market dot text. Now, whatever is in the text here, it will pass it to a double into market. And we need to do some error handling to make sure that there's numbers in there, but for now, You know me, I like to make things work and then tidy them up afterwards, right? So we can put our market in, we can put our volatility in, and we can put our interest rate in. So we have market, we have strike, volatility, and we have interest rate here. And this is going to be X strike, X volatility, and this will be our text interest rate, int rate. So now we have captured these 4 inputs. Now we need to handle the date. So we'll create a couple of new variables here. So we'll create valuation date. So that, well, that's today. Well, it doesn't necessarily actually have to be today's date. So valuation date is going to equal date time picker valuation date dot value dot date dot to OA date. And we also want to do expiry date. That's the time picker expiry date dot value date to OA date. I think we need to still create variables, which is why we've got errors coming up. And then time. Right, just lost the video there. So valuation date, create that as a double. Expiry date, double. And time be a double also. So there we've got these created. So time is going to equal our expiry date minus our valuation date. We want it in days, so we'll divide by 5. So they should be all the inputs we need to call our model. If we think back to the spreadsheet, or sorry, not the spreadsheet, the application, the web page, the calculator that I showed at the start of the video, it was the market, the strike, the volatility, the interest rate, and then they had the days to expiry. So we're doing that in a slightly different way, but it's going to achieve the same thing. So these are the model, these are the inputs to call our model. Let's put our model in, which we're going to do via a separate class. So let's get to that piece. Okay, so to add a new class to our project, we will right click on option trade and we will add a class. This will be a class up here and we are going to call this black 76 and we will add. Now that has opened up a whole new page with a class, and in here we're going to put our option model and then we will call it from this form. Come into it, will pass these inputs into the class, it will do the calculation and the class will pass back the results. So I have this code off screen in big function, which I'm going to copy and paste in. Yeah, so this needs another model as well, right? So it's highlighting me another class that we've got called CND. So this is the model. Maybe zoom out a bit so we can see. So it's black 76 method is the name of the function that I've created, and it's a double, so it returns back a double. It needs the input string of a call or put. So our option calculator, the same as our website, will calculate the price for the call and calculate the price for the put, and so it needs to know which way round it is. So we will have a call and a put flag. Then it's going to take in the market, the strike, the time, the interest rate, and the volatility, which is what these are. Maybe we can call this something F and X. So these are the calculations that it goes through. So it's quite interesting maths. Most of this is available download, which I actually downloaded originally a VBA code for this and then rewrote it into C#. So this is the function that returns our option price. It's calling another function here called CND. So let's create that class as well. We will add a new class that can be called CND. We will add that class and have the C here as well. Paste in the CND cost. So this one takes in the market price and then that goes through some constants and quite funky maths in there as well. But return our CND back. Now our squiggly lines have gone out and now this should return a value. Okay, so let's come back to our form and let's go through how we call that model with these inputs and update our labels with the price. Okay, so we're back in Form 1 code and I've created a couple more doubles in variables, call price and put price. So these doubles are going to receive the result of our calculation. Then we're going to update our labels with these results. I think that's a cleaner way of doing it. So the first one we're going to call or update is the call price. So that's going to call our class Black76. It needs to go there first. Inside there, it needs to call the method or function in there, which is the Black76 method. And inside of that, it needs the inputs, which the methods needs to return the result. So here it says it's going to return a double, but it needs a string, a double, 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 right? It needs to know call put, then it needs to know strike, market, time, interest rate, and volatility. So we'll put in here that we want a call for the first one. Then we want to pass in our strike, market, T is next, which is time. Then it wants the interest rate. And it wants the volatility. And we have no errors. So yeah, that is now call price. Our variable will be going to Black76 class up here. I mean, passing in these variables, go through our calculation, so through here, goes to CND, goes through this calculations, returns its value back to 76. 76 uses that, and then in the end it returns a value. That value passed back now into call price. Let's do the same thing for the put price. Here we've got put price. Instead of C, that wants a P. So that is now calling both call and put based on our inputs and going to generate two option prices. Now we want to populate our results with these prices. So we want to update our labels with these prices. Okay, so I've added in the code to update the call price.text with the call price. I've transferred the call price because it's double to string and formatted it there to a few decimal places and done the same with the put price. I've also just gone through and put some comments into my code. So through the button click, we see the first section is where we're populating our variables. Then we're pricing the options via the Black76 class, which is these two lines for the call and the put. And then we're updating the option prices to the labels with these two lines of code. So let's run our code and see what happens. Here's our price. Our labels are clear. So let's put our strike price in at $50. Our market is 65, so we expect our call to be quite in the money. Our put not so much. The volatility, now this is percentage, and we need to do some formatting. I know that this needs to go in as a percent, so 0.34 is 34%. And the interest rate, well, they're really small at the moment, so we'll get that at 1%. Our valuation date, let's value this option as of today. But let's say this is an October option and it expires on the 30th of September. Okay, so there's about 60 days worth of optionality to value on this. Price our option, and there we have $16 for the call and $1.27 for the put, which kind of makes sense, right? We're giving this, there's $15 difference between the market with 60 days left. There's 34% vol, so it's giving it, $1.17 over the underlying price difference between the market and the strike. So that's the value of our optionality overall. So $16 to buy this option today, which is an October option with a strike of 50. And the put to sell it at 50 when the market's 65 is obviously not worth as much, but there's still volatility there, so it's giving that a price of $1.27. So still work to do on this one, but as video number 1 goes, what have we achieved? Well, we've built a form with an option pricer on. We've taken in our inputs via our text boxes and our date time pickers. We've inserted classes, we've called the classes and the functions in the classes from the button click event, and we've updated the label. When you think about this video and progress compared to the game videos on the channel, we've done all completely new stuff, and we've got this pricer working really quite quickly, so I'm quite pleased. There's lots of things that we can do more on this one. So we can put in our Greek calculations. We really want to check these prices and make sure that they're accurate, but we can put in the Greeks. We can look at giving some option value predictions. Look, the strike price is set, right? But what happens if the market is between 50 and 80? Well, we can loop through that and then draw a graph of how those call prices will look and how those put prices will look. We could do different option models. There's different option models out there, so we can look at one for stock options where we'll need an input for the dividend yield. We can look at Asian pricing options through Turnbull-Wakeman calculations rather than Black-Scholes. So lots of things we can do in terms of option pricing, lots of things we can do in terms of coding. So there's going to be a few more videos on the option pricer app, but I think for video 1, we're quite happy with this. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with video 2 really soon. I hope you've learned something with me on Begin to Code. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and see you in video 2. Thanks very much. Hi guys, just wanted to give you a quick review of the results versus app that we were looking at. So we're getting $16 for the call and 127, 16, 17 and 127 for the puts. It's 220 days, 222 days I think to expiry, or 220, not 60 days. So I put the same inputs in here, and we're getting $16.50 and $1.21. Very close. I actually think this model's not as accurate. On my test cases spreadsheet is the same code. I'll bring that in. In VBA, we're getting 1617 and 1265. Look, we've used this one quite a bit, even at work. So yeah, I'm quite happy with these values. I think it's showing that we're getting good results. The numbers are quite accurate, but plenty of things to tidy up, plenty of things to work on. Let's go for video 2. If you're interested in the Black-Scholes model code and CND code, then please comment, and subscribe, and I can attach it or send it over or put it on GitHub, or we'll figure out a way to get it to you. Thanks for watching. See you in video 2. Bye for now.